Basquiat would look at how early rappers at the time used samples, and he would apply that to his artwork. In the same way musicians borrowed from James Brown, he borrowed from Rauschenberg, Picasso, African art, and referenced his own Haitian and was creative, and everyone was going to make it big. People assumed that Basquiat was an uneducated, uncultured graffiti artist from the ghettos with an almost supernatural talent. It was partly a deliberate myth he constructed himself, and partly people's expectations of what a scruffy, dreadlocked black artist could be. But he wasn't the noble savage the press liked to portray him as. On the contrary, he was an intensely ambitious, middle-class young man who knew his art history, particularly when it related to the presence and absence of blackness in Western art. Basquiat was born to a Haitian father and a Puerto Rican mother in a solidly middle-class household in Brooklyn. Privately educated, he was a gifted child who could read and write by the age of 4 and would speak 3 languages fluently. He was very close to his mother, who encouraged his artistic side. She took him to see Guernica as a child at the Museum of Modern Art and enrolled him as a junior member of the Brooklyn Museum of Art. The young Basquiat would spend every second drawing. He would paint several canvases at once, have dozens of reference books around him, have music on full blast and the TV on at the same time. His reference points were many and eclectic: anatomy, poetry, jazz, trash TV, typography, and art history. They enabled him to create visual collages which were profoundly original and at the same time rooted in a rich linguistic history. He would fuse words and text together instinctively, like a musician. But it was colour that held his works together. Basquiat was a master colourist and would use oil stick with spray paint, crayons and acrylics, undiluted primary colours layered in rapid succession, and he would build his figures up by reinforcing and overdrawing every line and form. The words here have been scratched out and painted over, in a conscious borrowing of an old master's technique known as pentimento. This was a signature motif of Basquiat, who would say, "I cross out words so you will see them more." After finishing Untitled in January 1982, New York gallerist Anina Nozay gave him a studio underneath her gallery so he could work on his first solo show with her. He found himself painting in Europe and California